Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match bullish show on the internet. We've just come back from the London Stadium virtually. Unfortunately, it was West Ham 0, Everton 1. Ryan, take us through the starting lineup.
No, do you know what? I'm going to pass it over to Graham because he was practicing off screen. He was saying, whenever I know it, he never asks me, so I'm going to learn it today. Go on, Gray, I'll let you do it.
Okay. Fabianski in goal, Kufal, Dawson, Diop, Creswell on the left. Souček and Lanzini, and then forward of them we had a three of Fornals, Lingard, Benrahma, and Antonio up front on his own.
Yeah, I'm going to be blunt. It just weren't good enough. No,
no. We had a lot of the ball, just didn't do anything with it. I mean, one shot on target says it all, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's disappointing because no one had that massive sledgehammer to break through that blue wall today, because Everton they defended fantastic today. Let's not take it away from Everton. They defended well. They frustrated West Ham. You know, we couldn't just fight. We just couldn't unlock that pass. You know, Antonio was playing out of position for most of the game. He was playing out wide. We just couldn't break Everton down today. And sometimes, you know, it's frustrating because we've had 11 attempts today, none on target. So that just sums it up for me. It's disappointing, but yeah, I just think Everton were tough to break down today.
I think what you to bring away from today is that I think this has been the same all season, and we've been really good at times. But when a team sets up like that with five at the back and they're willing to chuck everything behind the ball, we do struggle without, you know, a proper centre foot. I mean, you've only got to look at the movement for the Everton goal, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is where we fall down in you know, the players we have available, is that there is just no one with that extra little bit of speciality to break down them defences when they're stern, when they're behind the ball, when they don't want to sort of Everton. You know, they got their goal and they sat back, and that's where we've really struggled this season. You look through the patterns of the season, apart from the top six, where we just don't seem to go at it enough. We really struggle to get creative enough to
do you know, to create chances. We're more comfortable when we let teams come at us and we can hit them on the break.
No, yeah, I agree.
When a team sets up like Everton did, you know, get everyone behind the ball, we just haven't quite got the guile.
Yeah, I mean,
to just break them down, you know.
The final balls, the balls into the boxes, they were either under it or over it. It do you know what? Look, I know we're disappointed today because we was all buzzing before the game, thinking, you know, we can get 3 points today here. But do you know what? It's just one of them games. It's frustrating, but you know, we spoke about it before the game, Nick. Calvert-Lewin's movement and things like that, and he was one to watch, and it just showed on his goal. But apart from that, Everton done nothing, and they scored against the runner play as well. We had the ball, we was knocking it about. They started with five at the back, but all they had was Calvert-Lewin on the halfway line, and they had 10 players behind the ball.
Yeah, you know, it's difficult to break
down. Even the top teams sometimes fail to break teams down, but some of the top teams, you know, they've got that one or two players that can just. Even Lingard was frustrated today. If I thought anything was going to happen today, it was going to come through him. But even he was frustrated today, and he couldn't get his foot on the ball and make anything happen.
It's just, and not only that as well. I think that when you look at the goal, and that's where we, as I said, that's where we lack, is that, you know, we haven't got proper centre forward movement to sort of pull them defences out. You look at their goal, Everton, you know, you can have a go at them for, you know, no one's having a go at them, because at the end of the day, we're at the arse end of the season, and the results are what matters, and the goal is what matters. But you look at the movement from the two up front they had today. You know, we touched on them before the game. You know, Calvert-Lewin's a tricky player. He's hit some really good form this season. But you just look at the way they scored their goal. Richarlison took Diop out of the game. It left him one-on-one isolated with Dawson. And once that ball got, I've got to give it to, I think it was Godfrey put the ball through it. It's a brilliant ball. Give Calvert-Lewin the chance to run onto it. Dawson was never going to catch him. Diop was out of contention because Richarlison had taken him away. And that's, Graham, you'd agree with me here, I'm sure, because you're a manager, but completely, ripped the defence away. And once they had that goal, they weren't bothered about it. They knew, like, that, Ancelotti, he ain't won titles and things like that for no reason. He's a smart man, and he's done his own work. He's seen a couple of games where we struggled to break down teams and say, right, if we keep resilient here, if we put 10 behind the ball, they're going to struggle to break us down, and we did.
The thing is, 10 of their wins this season have come on the road out of 15, so we know how good they are on the road. It's Richarlison for me was we spoke before the game in the build-up show. We said what Richarlison is going to turn up today. Is he going to be the one that goes missing or the one that wants to get involved and make things happen? And unfortunately for us today, it was the one that wanted to make things happen. He was all over the pitch. He was winning first balls. He was brilliant today. And sometimes you just got to take your hat off and say, fair play to them, because they, as Graham said, they done today what we usually do to teams. We just couldn't break them down. We just didn't have that player. We had our chances. Syed Benrahma had that diving header at the back post where he's just caught it too well. If it comes off his head a little bit, not as hard, it goes in. But he's just caught it too well. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't say I was disappointed in Thomas Souček today, but he just couldn't get on the ball. He broke up play well, but he just couldn't get on the ball. And Fornals as well, and Lanzini in the first half, they was on the ball, but they instead of trying to go forward, they're just going side to side because Everton are just they was too hard to break down. They set up well. They done their job. Yeah,
I mean the frustrating thing is, we've lost 3 of our last 4. We've hit a little bad patch at the wrong time, unfortunately. I'd rather, if you always have a bad patch during the season. I just wish we'd had ours a lot earlier in the season so we could still try and make up the ground. But if we win, I think it's 2 of our last 3. We were saying, right, weren't we? If we win 2 of the last 3, haven't we guaranteed Europa?
Yeah, if we win 2 of our last 3. But the thing is, at the moment, I mean, Liverpool are a point behind us with a game in hand, and then you've got Tottenham.
The game is Man United, though.
Yeah, then you got obviously Tottenham 2 points behind us, and Leicester. If we'd have won today, we'd have gone 2 points behind them. But now we're 5 points, so we've got to hope now that they just don't pick up any more wins this season, and we have to win our last 3 games to have any sort of chance of breaking that top 4. But I just think now, we said it before the game, a point wouldn't have been the worst result in the world, but a loss, I just think the Champions League now is sort of out of our reach. But listen, you never know. There's 3 games to go, mate. There's still going to be lots of twists and turns in this season. But look, we're at the right end of the table, and we're trying to go for the top 4 instead of trying to keep out the bottom 4, which is a huge, huge difference.
Mate, if we said at the start of the season you're going to go into the last 3 games and you're going to be 5th, you'd have had their arm off.
So I think, to be fair, you look at the fixtures. I think Liverpool are now going to be favourites to get to that top 4 because Leicester are going to drop points. They're going to drop. They could drop 5-6 points still.
They'll have one eye on the final, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They could drop 9 points. You know what I mean? So it's not out of the equation, but it's going to be tough. We have to make sure we win our games and not worry about anyone else. We win our games. We've got every chance. But just touching on that there, but Benrahma, that for me today is like, and I was full of praise for him on last Monday. That for me is why I'm not having him, is because he's so inconsistent. I thought he was poor today. I thought he was poor, and I'm not just picking on him because I didn't think Lingard was great. I didn't think Antonio was great. In fact, I didn't think a lot of them was great. Even Soufal had an off day. But that for me is the question mark. The big chance of the game. There was two, but one of the big chances fell to him. You got to be at least hitting the target there. I'm sorry, but there's no excuse at the back post, unmarked. With the whole goal, he tried to overcomplicate it. I think he's tried to put it in the top left right hand corner. It wasn't far away. Don't get me wrong, but that for me is why I'm not having him, because a chance like that, if that falls to Antonio, it's a goal. If it falls to Lingard, it's a goal. If it falls to Jared Bowen, it's a goal. He's got to put that away. He's got to, and that is the reason why, why we may not make the top four, is because we said it last week against Burnley. We missed too many chances, and against the likes of Everton, who are a very good side, you're going to get very few. We had two chances today. We could have won the game. Benrahma puts that one away, and Soufal's one was unlucky and unfortunate. It hit the post and cut, the wrong side of the post, an inch to the left, it hits the post and goes in. And that's the difference between winning and losing. And we've got to put our chances away. And that's where we've fell down this season. And that's where, you start to look around at what, losing key players in the season, losing silly games like the ones that, drawing against the likes of Brighton when we just, we wasn't on our game that day. We went in there scared, which unfortunately we've got next week, so we can't do that again. But that's the difference between winning and losing. It is the chances you take, and against Everton, you're not going to get too many big chances.
Yeah, look, we're alluding on it before the game, mate. Everton are a bogey team for us. We haven't had a great record against them, especially at home in recent years. And I just think they were well drilled, well organised today. They frustrated us. They were putting tackles in. It was a great game of football for the neutral to watch because tackles were flying in. It's just, we just never had that killer touch, that killer pass, that one player that wanted to just grab the game by the scruff of the neck. We didn't have that day. And that's where we miss someone like a Declan Rice in midfield, because Declan Rice today would have got hold of that midfield. But obviously Lanzini going off as well. And then we had to change shape. Then Creswell goes off, and then you bring Fredericks on, and it's just, as Graham said a little while ago, we're just picking up these injuries at the wrong end of the season. And look, I can't fault these players and the manager this season. I really can't, and it's frustrating that we're disappointed and not picking up 3 points today and going for the top four. But as I said, there's still 3 games to go. You never know what can happen in this season. And we've got Brighton next week. And Brighton today lost 2 of their best players to red cards. So they'll be missing next week. Duncan Malpay. Malpay, whatever his name is. So, there's still hope. There's still hope. And well, can I hear myself?
I don't know. I think Graham's pissing about with a computer.
What are you doing, Gray? Stop it.
So all the sound's gone funny.
All right, drop out and come back in, mate.
Yeah, all right.
What the fuck, man? I told him what to do last week when this happened.
It's because someone's ringing his phone. That's why. I just think, it's frustrating today, mate. But we're still there. We're still up there. Even if we finish 5th or 6th, it's disappointing because of what we could have done. But overall, when you look at the season, it's a fantastic season still.
No, I said it before the game. If you go and watch the build-up game, I was very confident today. Unfortunately, an Everton turned up that was at it today. Like you can't take that away from Everton. Ancelotti is a good manager, and they've got some, as I said before in the build-up, they've got some good players. They look at times this season, they've looked like they didn't fancy it, to be quite honest with you, but they've turned up today and they knew what they was doing. They've done a job. But it all comes down to the recruitment, doesn't it? Really, we've recruited very well in places, but to be where we are, I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud of them, and that's what I said.
To be fair, mate, without having a recognised striker sort of all season, especially since we sold Haller as well, I think we've done fantastic. I think we have.
to be honest, mate, it's like it's miracle work, really, what they've done without a full like. But when you start to think about it now, and it's going to come to the end of the season, and if we do miss out on that Champions League, you got to sit down and start to reflect and all that. And we haven't really done that this season. We've done it a bit in January, but why are we left without a centre forward? Why, the difference today between the two sides, I thought it was a very even game. I thought, as I said, Everton, but they got the goal, and it was all down to their centre forwards. They were defended magnificently, but it was all down to the movement of the centre forwards. And when you look at it and you start to reflect at the end of the season and thinking, like, what could have been if obviously for the Newcastle game we was missing Antonio, who is not a recognised striker, but he's the striker that we've got. Why have we got no one to step in for that? Why have we got no one challenging it? I think you've got to start looking at it now and think it's crazy. It's mental when you think about it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know it's crazy that we didn't bring someone in. I mean, they brought Lingard in, but they never brought in a recognised striker. I mean, one player that we was linked with come on for Everton today, and within 2 seconds he could have scored. Josh King at the back post.
Yeah.
But people didn't want Josh King when we was linked with him. There was other strikers we was linked with that people didn't want at the club. So it's.
But at the end of the day, right? You can sit there talking about who people didn't want and who people did want and all that. It's not the people making the decisions. It's the hierarchy at the club, which, I feel, my feelings on the hierarchy. I'm not going to talk about it too much until probably the summer, but because I think it would take away from. I don't want that to overshadow the moaning and the groaning. And I see there's still protests going on, which absolutely, people think because we are where we are, these protests are stopping. They're not stopping. And people still feel the same way. But it comes down to the hierarchy. And I don't want to take away the magnificent job that the management team and the players have done by just, batting on about these. But I think it's criminal. But then
if you're already looking towards the end of the season to sort of talk about what the board haven't done yet, you are taking away what the great things that the players and the manager have done this season. The board now have got to invest in the summer. They know that. There's no point
in investing in the last 5 summers, Ryan.
They sort of did. They give Pellegrini a lot of money. They've backed David Moyes with the signings that David Moyes wanted, which we've got to remember as well is David Moyes didn't want some of the players that was offered to him. David Moyes was happy to work with a small squad. So it's all ifs and buts, and we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We're only speculating what goes on. So it's and as you said, we'll address all that sort of in the summer when the season's ended. But at the moment, I mean, I think there's 3 games left. There's hopefully what we got 2 away games and 1 home game. The next home game is obviously Southampton. There'll be 10,000 fans there, so we could be going into that last game in the season. 10,000 fans there might give them, because when you speak about Ben Rama, I do understand it's frustrating, but I think Ben Rama is that sort of player that would be better with crowds there. If you get what I mean, I think he's that type of player. And I mean, Bowen come on today. Didn't really do much. He slowly got into the game. He had, look, the ball come off the post and it's fell to him. I can't knock him for not scoring that. It was difficult coming off the post. And then obviously Yarmolenko come on. All he done was what he usually does: hang out on the wing, do 2-step overs, and lose the fucking ball. He's useless. He'll be one of the first players I get out the door in the summer. And yeah, Creswell going off. Creswell, I think, was more of a dead leg that he couldn't shake off. I don't think. It's a definite impact. I see it. As he come down, he landed on it. Ryan, you've played football, Graham, and you played football. I'll give you a chance to talk, Ray. But yeah, we've all played football, and when you get a knee in one of them sort of soft bits of your muscle, when you fire in your groin or whatever. It's sore. It's fucking sore, but you don't run it off. It gets worse as you go on. But it's a bruise. It's bruising that's coming out.
It'd be fine for, should be fine for the Brighton game by then. It's very tough. It's very, very tough to shake off a dead leg during a game. Like, it takes a few days to shake off a dead leg.
You get that knee in the muscle, like, you know. I've got to say this as well. I thought the referee was fucking disgraceful today. I don't think it was, you know, one of the main reasons, but you know, I think Alan could have had a couple of yellow cards. That one where he got that, I thought that was a disgraceful challenge, to be quite honest with you. But he could have had a booking before that. I thought he was terrible.
Mate,
look, it's
just
just
saying the referee had for the Thames game. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Made Mike Dean look competent.
I mean, look, when you look at the stats today, you know, we had 69% of the ball. You know, we had 11 shots to their 9. The difference is they had 3 on target. We had none on target. They've scored. We ain't. It's a very frustrating game. And I said to you, Nick, in the build-up show, that I could see it could go in like a sort of the Chelsea game at home. You know, very frustrating. They nick a goal and then sit back and try to defend. And Everton, I thought, the longer the game went on, I thought to myself, they're going to nick a second. And they nearly did. Fabianski pulled off a good save from Sigurdsson. The free kick was going in. It's such a frustrating game, and I hate watching games. I was sitting there and I couldn't sit still because it's frustrating me. And when you look at the clock, the minutes are going so quick. And on another day, you know, we could have won that game with the possession and chances we had, but we didn't.
The frustrating thing for me is that's the most confident I've felt going into a game against Everton for a long while.
And that's
because
the difference.
They've been on quite a poor run of form.
Yeah, and that's the difference, Gray. That's the mentality of the fans this season. We are confident going in against teams like Everton there at home because we've done so well this season. But you know the Premier League. You can play the team that's bottom that ain't won for 10 games and they can come to your place and get a result. That's the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, mate. That's the beauty of the league. Anyone can beat anyone. That's
well, let's hope Leicester lose their last 3 games and we have some sort of chance of sneaking into that top. I can't see it now. But listen, finishing 5th or 6th still is a massive season.
Fantastic season still. Like I say, we just enjoy the journey. You know, it takes us where it takes us. But let's say the players and the manager have been fantastic this year. Can't take that away from them.
No, I don't think anyone will.
No.
Graham will.
Yeah, Graham. In the season, Graham takes it away from him. But the thing is, moving on to the Brighton game now, I think it's clear to see. You'll probably see Ogbonna come back in. Hopefully, Creswell's fit. Declan Rice, fingers crossed, will be available. I think that's the game they're aiming to get him back. And it'll be a totally different setup. And, you know, I think that's what we need. I think we need Declan Rice back in.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
We missed him big time. So we just missed someone in that midfield to get hold of the ball and try to make things happen and, you know, look for that forward pass. Everything was going out wide because Everton just, I'm going to say it, they sort of parked the bus. But look, we've done it down the years. You know, we had seasons under it with Big Sam, but it's what it is. Sometimes you have to Everton have to grind out results, just like we have to grind out results.
Yeah, mate, you can't, mate. You know, they've got games to win. They need points as well. You know, I think they can still get into Europe as well. So we can't complain about the way they play because it's down to us to break them down. If we can't do it, Everton have done their jobs, haven't they? So you can't moan about the tactics used just because they didn't roll over and have their bellies tickled. It's down to us to go and break them down, isn't it?
The thing is, I'm reading the chat as I'm going as well, and someone's made a great point here, and Leicester could quite easily lose all their last 3 games. They could quite easily lose them. If we win 2, we'll be above them. Obviously, you've got Liverpool up their arses and going to be up their arses as well. You know, I don't think it's completely dead.
I don't think it's completely dead, mate. But then Leicester could win all 3.
But they could win all 3. It just depends. But they could quite easily lose all 3. I don't think it's completely dead. But winning today or even drawing today would have given us a massive boost. And
the thing is, mathematically, it's not dead. So that's your hope there that decisions, games go your way, and and other teams' results are good for us.
Mm.
Yeah. All we can do is win our games. Don't worry about it. We just got it's in our own hands.
Mm.
You know, we've got to. You can't be. If you're worrying about what other teams are doing to help you out, then you haven't done enough over the course of the season.
Yeah.
Have you? So
No.
you know, just win the last three, see where it takes us.
No, you're right, Ray. I think there's a lot of twists and turns yet.
Yeah, there will be. There will be. There's loads of football still to play. You know, everyone can beat everyone on their day. You know, the worrying thing for me is that if West Brom lose tonight, I think they get relegated. So then when we play them, they're all ready to be relegated. And you know yourself, when you play a team that's already relegated, they start getting results. And, you know, we've still got two tough away games. Brighton and West Brom ain't going to be easy. And then Southampton at home last game. I mean, they've been on the beach since fucking February, them lot. So, you know, they've got nothing to play for, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's it, mate. So just got to make sure we get over the line.
I'm just disappointed. That's the thing. It's just a disappointing thing. And to be fair, it's we haven't had a lot to moan about this season, and I'm the world's biggest moaner. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and start berating people. I think some of the meltdowns from some people about like the performance today. I mean, fuck me. I sometimes I sit there and think that have these ever been to a West Ham game in their lives? Because I think, you know, turning up and saying it's embarrassing performance, fucking hell, I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not embarrassed by a performance like that. I've seen it so many years, you know, all teams. And I mean, look at Liverpool. Liverpool are champions of England. They're sitting behind us. You know what I mean? How must their fans feel? Because they've had a few, you know, bad results and all of that sort of thing. But, you know, get a grip. Like, you know, get a grip.
At home in a row. They lost 5 in a row at home.
The thing is, as well, I mean, people are saying it was embarrassing. I've seen us play a lot worse and win. So, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't see them turn around and say, "Oh, that was embarrassing, winning like that." It's football at the end of the day.
Mate, I've seen Farnborough take us to a replay in the FA Cup.
No, you ain't.
No, I don't think you have, Gray.
92. Third round.
92. He's got a year out of everything. Yeah. But yeah, I think, you know, when you think about, I mean, if you're sitting there embarrassed about a 1-0 loss to Everton, bear in mind, Ryan read out some stats earlier on, and they've lost once at our place in the last sort of like 10 years or something like that. You know, it's not embarrassing. It's, you know, it could be better. But you just have to get a grip and you know, how can you be embarrassed when you're sitting 5th in the league? You know, I just couldn't do it. And you know, we haven't gone out there and you know, you get beat 8-0. Yeah, you'd be a little bit embarrassed, but I'm not going to be embarrassed by a 1-0 loss to Everton. No way.
In fact, over the years, it's what we've expected. A 1-0 loss to Everton.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I just think
in the last few years, we would have taken a 1-0 loss against Everton.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like to say things like it's embarrassing. I just think it's farcical. Some of these fans, what some of them talk about, I think it's crazy. It's crazy. All teams lose games. Man City lost the game the other day, and they lost the game. Who did West Brom beat the other week? You know what I mean? Like
Chelsea, wasn't it? West Brom beat Chelsea
for 5-2 and all that. You know, you'd be a bit embarrassed about that sort of thing, but you can't sit there and say a 1-0 loss to Everton is embarrassing, especially when we've beaten already. You know what I mean? But listen, it's just still catching up with us a little bit, and hopefully we can, you know, grind out a couple of results at the end of the season, make ourselves, you know, any sort of European football next season is a massive improvement. Even if we don't get European football for some fucking reason, it's a massive improvement on last year. We could finish fucking, you know, if we were safe from relegation now, it'd be a massive improvement. I just think people are overreacting a little bit, and yeah, we'll see where we go.
Yes, let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, we are enjoying it, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, big smiles. That's it. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. Everything done. There ain't much happened this week to discuss, is there? Unless anyone's got any other business.
I think we covered it all on Friday Night Pint, didn't we? But yeah, we'll be back when we back next week. We play next Saturday, don't we?
Saturday, yeah. Saturday.
Yeah,
We're doing on the social this week, right?
Yes, do it tomorrow night, Gray, if you're available, mate.
I am.
You sure?
I am.
All right.
100%.
Well, yeah, we'll try to do it tomorrow night. If not, it'll be Tuesday. Yeah, that's it, mate. I'm done. I've had a
drink.
Yeah, I've had a drink. No, there's not really much more to say on it. We've summed it up. You know, there's no point just keep going on repeating ourselves. So yeah, leave it there.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint. You can check out all that merchandise. Me and Ryan are sporting a new Spiritual Home t-shirts. There's also the Virgil van Dawson t-shirts just come out, and the Mikel Antonio, the Beast of the East End t-shirts. You can go and check that out on our store right now. If you want to support us and support the channel, you can join us on Patreon. There's a link in the description down below. Also for the store, there's a link in the description down below. We're just about the films coming for the
Patreon. That does make me laugh though. Virgil van Dawson. He was more like Virgil van Shite today.
Yeah, he was bad. Yeah, to be fair. But yeah, you can check out all of that sort of stuff. Check out all our content in the lead up to the Brighton game next Saturday. Anything else left to say, boys?
Nah, biscuits.
Biscuits, yeah, absolutely.
Was it Nanny Crumb Cake?
Like and subscribe as always. Follow us.
Yeah. If you're new around here, click the subscription button, like it, share it. And yeah, we'll be back again next week. As I said, leading up to the Brighton game. One thing left to say, boys.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.